Hi, I'm Bryn McKinnon, one of the senior editors at Edmunds.com, and I'm joined today by our features editor, Carroll Lachnit. Hi, Carroll. And also Ron Montoya, our consumer advice editor. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Brent. How's it going?
So today we're going to talk about car color trends. Carroll, can you talk to us about what colors we're seeing out there?
It's a pretty boring landscape, Brent, over the last 10 years or so, dominated by the top-selling car colors in the U.S., black and silver, closely followed by white. And then fourth is red, and then it comes down to the sort of single digits after that of different colors. There's a trend coming towards more variety in car colors and more interesting car colors. And some of that may be a little bit of marketing hype, but you can certainly look at a segment of the market, which is the mini car, very small car segment, that's really aimed at a youth market. And in those cars, like the Chevrolet Spark, the Ford Focus again, the Ford Fiesta, and a car like the Hyundai Veloster, all of which have starting MSRPs at below $20,000, you're really seeing some pretty out there colors. So like, for example, in the Chevrolet Spark, the one that really stuck out for me in terms of are they really putting it out there and is anybody going to buy it, is a color called Techno Pink, which is like a pale silvery pink color. And then in the Veloster, all of the car colors this season, or 2013 I should say, are related to foot racing. So you have marathon blue, you have a color called vitamin C, and you can guess what color that is. The one thing to kind of note about some of these colors is if there's a desirable color, like you're in the 2013 model year and you see a color you really like and it's really distinctive, you might want to think about buying it now, because those colors don't necessarily carry over from year to year.
We put the question out on Facebook, on Edmunds Facebook. What do you think of brighter colors for cars? Are you into them or are you not? And Michael McAlexander said that silver is what he buys on trucks. Royal metallic blue is what I would enjoy on a small vehicle if I drove one. Just too much color for me on a double cab. So I think people are might be a little nervous to have a larger vehicle with a very bright color, but it's a lot easier to sort of see yourself in a car in a bright color when it's much smaller and a little more zippy.
We put this question about car colors out on our long-term blog, also writing about the Ford Focus ST that we have, and I asked, what about you? Do you buy cars in bright colors? And the majority of people who responded, and it's more than 20 commenters, said, yeah, they definitely like bright colors. And one commenter had an interesting point, which is that you can't always blame the car buyer for conservative color choices, because sometimes a color might be available in the rest of the world that's not available here, or an interesting color might be paired with some bizarre options package or some trim level. And so when you're out shopping on the car lots, you may not have as much success finding the color that you want, or it may be married to something that you don't want. So that's one argument about why we're finding such conservative choices.
Ron, why don't you let us know how we can get one of these cars that's in a crazy color?
Sure. If you want to get one of these colors, the first thing I would recommend is to go to the new car inventory tool on Edmunds. It actually lets you refine your search by the exact color you're looking for, and you could take a look at the dealerships that are there, call them up, ask if the car's in stock. If not, you can also go on the dealership's website. Sometimes if you call them up, they'll want to maybe do a dealer trade, maybe call another dealership and see if they can arrange to have it shipped there. Just a word of advice, if you do end up doing that though, I would prefer that you go to the actual dealer that had the car in stock, because they're going to be able to cut you a better deal, because in a lot of cases, if they've done you that favor, so to speak, of bringing the car over there for you, they may not be as flexible with price. Now, if all that's been exhausted and you cannot find your car, what I would recommend is you order it, and this is the best way to get the car exactly how you want it, and you go to the internet sales department. This is who we like to deal with. They're more upfront with pricing, and you just order the car exactly how you want it, the color, the options, everything you want. And you're going to have to wait a while. It's going to take about 2 to 3 months. And so you've got to really keep in mind that this is a purchase for down the line, and maybe take care of your financing in the meantime. And once the car's in stock, then you can actually negotiate on the price. And keep in mind that although there were some incentives on the car when you ordered it, they may have expired. So just kind of do some research as far as what's available for that car, what incentives are available, and what discounts there are. And once it arrives, then you can negotiate the price of the car. And I want to add that in a lot of cases, they're going to have you put a deposit. This can range between $500 to about $1,000. And once you have this deposit, it's just sort of showing them that you're serious about purchasing the car, and that doesn't mean that you actually bought the car. So it's important to note that. So once the car comes in stock or comes at the dealership, if you decide that you changed your mind, maybe you saw the color in person and it just kind of wasn't what you thought it was, feel free to just let them know you don't want the car anymore.
That's really interesting to me. I didn't actually know that once you ordered it, that wasn't the final. You still were able to make a decision once the car comes in. If you don't like it or something's changed in your situation, it's not final until you sign on the dotted line, which I think is great.
One of our blog posters had what I think is a really great comment about all this, which is too many people buy a conservative color because they're worried about how they'll sell it down the line instead of worrying about what they really want it to look like. And he says, don't worry about it. Get the color you want. You sell a car once, but you live with it every day, which I think is really great advice for car shoppers and car owners.
I love that. I'm going to use that. It's very true. It's very, very true. So thanks for joining me for this, you guys. It was fun. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can leave a comment below, or you can tweet us at #AskTheCarPeople. And join us next week because James Riswick will be back talking about James Bond movie cars. So you're not going to want to miss that. Thanks very much.